Welcome back to the Turn It Off Right Now, the T.O.R.N podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to the full review of the series, season one of Pluribus, show on Apple TV that we all were introduced to. It's a pretty good show. There's some people who are really high on it. Some people, it's pretty polarizing. If you guys know Vince Gilligan and how he creates his shows, that he does a lot of pace, like his pacing and how he tells his story can be polarizing to a lot of people. So we took a look at it, and here's our final review of the season. We're gonna get into all the plot devices, character development. We're gonna do some predictions at the end. So stay tuned for all that, and drop a like and a comment in our section of YouTube. We trying to blow it up. And then we talking about all things on this podcast. So come and see it. Fellas, how y'all doing today?
Doing
Living
well.
life. Doing
Good,
good.
good to see you. I hope everything's well with y'all boys. I'm very interested. I know opinions of my man Paul on this show. We have very not very different, but like pretty different opinions on the way the show is handled. And I'm interested to hear what how Parker talks about it. But yeah, let's just get into it. So last time we came here, we only watched 3 episodes. Kind of crazy though. We saw the whole. We were trying to get on here before that, but scheduling and stuff didn't work out. But so the first 3 episodes we saw the introduction to the Hive mind, which is basically a virus that came from a signal out from outer space, and they created it out of the signal, like RN, DNA, all that stuff. They created it, recreated it, and created not a sickness. I wouldn't call it that. It was just like a hive mind like thing that spread. And now we're left with Carol. Talk about Carol. Y'all, Paul, you can talk about Carol, or Parks. One of y'all can take it over and talk about her and the rest of the story.
You got it, Parks?
No, you got it.
Yeah, so Carol, she starts off the season with like her lover, Helen. She dies in we talked about this already, but I'm just trying to recap. And she
Yeah,
dies in the
just a quick recap. Just a quick recap.
yeah, she dies in the passing in the like event of the spreading of the virus or whatever. And then she just freaks out on like what is going on. That's basically the first 3 episodes, like trying to figure out what the hive is. Continues more into episode 4, where she really extends the limits of like trying to figure out what the hive is. And then she's left in isolation, trying to find answers in isolation. She goes to another immune, Kumba in Las Vegas, to find more answers. She gets more answers. She learns more about the other immune, which makes her feel a certain way. That she goes back to where she was isolated, and then she begs them to come back after indulging in everything she can and still feeling lifeless. Um, and then she's met by a visitor, which I guess Parks will go and talk about his favorite character. Um, and while that's happening, she gets closer to the hive. She starts building feelings for Zosha, and they begin a relationship. And then the
Whoa,
final
whoa,
episode.
hold on. Wait. Before you go into all of the plot, I want to take it like by a couple episodes, like 4 and 5,
Okay.
and talk about those 2 episodes. Then we'll talk about 7, and then we'll
Okay.
talk about it was 8 episodes, right? Or is it
9
nine?
episodes.
9.
Yeah, it's in 8, 9. Or is it 9? I thought it
Okay,
was
so
It was
8.
9.
so basically at the end of episode 6
Yeah, basically, yeah. This is
is
why
when I think
I want
she
to talk about.
asks.
Yeah,
Episode 6, she asked for the hive to come back. Um.
right.
So yeah, yeah. I'll end it there.
Okay,
Parks
yeah,
can
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about what's going on with the other main
Yeah.
immune.
So I can't remember when we get introduced to Manusis. I think it's at the end of episode 2 or 3, and like he's kind of teased like in various like small bits at the beginning of the season. But as the season goes on, we kind of get more exposure to this character and kind of the way he acts, and the way he's responding to the hive mind and the joining. And yeah, I thought it was really interesting to see at first. I think he shows like a level of resilience against the Hive that even I was like, yeah, I like even me watching, I'm like, I don't think I would have that resilience. I think I would fold a lot easier than you. So I think he's admirable in that sense, and pulls some similarities kind of from like early on in the season, Carol. But as we kind of grow to see Manusis's resilience is stronger, arguably, than Carroll's. I think he kind of holds stronger through the majority of the season in terms of his um, non-willingness to trust or work with the Hive. Um, so he receives the tape from Carol, which well, originally they have a little back and forth on the phone. Carol yells at him, and that was that. And I think that kind of struck Manousis in a certain way that he was like, okay, like I think I could maybe get along with this person. So after he receives the tape from Carol, he decides to trek out to visit her. So, and that's when we have the two interact and at the end of the season. So,
Yep, yep. So before we get into like like I want to do kind of just review of Carol's character. Like I want to talk about her journey. And it's kind of like we'll go through all the episodes like while we're talking about each character. That's kind of like how I wanted to do it. So in episode 4, after the first 3 episodes, we see that she's resistant to it. She doesn't want to accept the hive mind. Like she's not gonna accept it anyways. But like she wants to like really stay away from it. Doesn't want to interact with it really, and she wants to do everything on her own. We kind of see that like through the first episodes, and then 4 and 5 is like the peak of her trying to like avoid it at all costs. Like she doesn't want anything to do. She goes to the store. They see that cool scene where she's at the store in a Sprout or what Sprouts I think it is or whatever Sprouts. Yeah, that show. Or that store, and she's like, yeah, fill this. Like, I just need to go to a store. Like, I don't want you guys delivering it, and I want to do everything. She goes to the store. They fully furnish the food with all the food and that they have. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, they're able to do that quickly. And she's like, that's how resistant she is. She doesn't want any help, and it kind of shows like her stubbornness. And I think Carol's a very interesting character in my like. I'm not as high as her as like some other people, and we'll talk about that later, like through the later episodes, like how he's kind of like a little too selfish, like in my opinion. But like, yeah, I can see why people like it's like very realistic to like how someone who with that kind of mindset would like react in that situation, and it's like contrasted with how Parks was talking about Manusos, who's like he's stubborn, but he won't change at all. So episode 4 and 5. You guys want to talk about anything y'all saw from those specific episodes? I know that was a long time ago, but anything that you can remember that you guys want to talk about from those 2 episodes that you guys found interesting?
I mean, episode 5 I really liked because that was the milk episode, right? That
Hmm.
was
Yeah, that was the guy milk.
that was one of my favorite episodes, I think, of the season, just
Mm.
because if I remember correctly, that was like a very low dialogue episode, right? It was Carol going around exploring the city with the people being gone, and like it was kind of like the what we talked about before the pod, where visually, like the episode was like very telling. Like it told its story like
Right.
visually, and like there wasn't a lot of talking, but like there's a lot of symbolism and in the way things were framed and shot. And I don't know, I found it very interesting. And it was a great way to kind of tell the story. And I think like Rhea Seehorn did a great job, kind of keeping me entertained at least, even though without like saying barely anything. I thought it was just like very well done.
Okay. Yeah, that was the episode where she did the video. Is that the episode?
Yeah, that was the
Or is
yeah,
that
when
the
she
episode?
recorded herself. Yeah.
So episode 5, we go to her. She's all alone after she asked the people, "Can I escape? Like, is it possible for me to undo this hive mind you guys got?" And then they don't answer her, and they upset her. They, and she has to go social after being blown up after she asked for the bomb and stuff. She has to go to the hospital. She's very upset. She goes. She in truth serums her. She tested it on herself too. I thought that was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool scene where she, test it out on herself, and she records her saying all this stuff about how she da 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 about the Hive and that she wants to get with Zosha as well. That was pretty cool. And then she does the truth serum, and this is like her peak of stubbornness of getting away from the Hive. She goes and asks them, hey, can I undo this? Like, tell me how to undo this? And they're like, they don't answer because they can't. And it's just like, and they all swarm her. And I'm thinking like, are they like gonna like whoop her ass or some shit? Like, nah, they can't hurt her. So like, what are they about to do? And then she is able to come to, and then they all leave. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then we get into what Parks was talking about, episode 5, where it's not a lot of talking. She's just going around investigating, and I thought that was. I did think like it is very slow. Like that was kind of like when I was like, I know you guys might feel different about it. That for me like really dragged, and I was like, all right, like it gets to the point at this point, like we need to like just move the plot a little bit. Like I'm waiting to see like more things to be revealed, and that's why I'm holding out a hope for the rest of the season. And so it gets to episode 5, and she's doing the videotapes, and she sends them out, and then she goes to investigate the freezer that she finds. And then what does she find, Paul? What does she find?
Oh yeah, so we open up in episode 6. And we actually get a really cool shot. I heard a podcast talking about it, but like Carol actually went and like Rhea Seahorn went and recorded this herself. So Carol went back she left the freezer to go get her camera so she could record this and send it to the rest of the immune as like evidence against how bad they are or whatever. And then she goes in there, she's frantic, she's like shaking the camera around, like and then she finds a human head. At least what looks like a human head. I don't know if she ever unraveled it. But anyway, um, she finds that, and then she thinks they're eating humans, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, they're eating humans! Like they're terrible. They're cannibalists. We gotta make sure we gotta fix them. If I tell everybody this, they're gonna believe me, and they're gonna want to be on my side." And so she gets in the car and she drives over to Kumba, where Kumba's having his fantasies lived out to the fullest. He's reenacting his favorite movies as his favorite characters, um, spending time with people he probably wouldn't be able to spend time. Let me not say that. He's spending time with a group of women. That I don't know if
Boy,
he
I got
was
them
familiar.
bitches. He got them bitches.
I don't know if he would have known them if that wasn't the Hive. But
No, you know.
either way, they figure out that Carol's coming. The Hive's like, Carol's dangerous. She tried to hurt. Well, she did hurt Zosha. We need to get away. So they leave, and then Carol's like, "Look at this evidence I got." And then Kumba reveals that they already know that him and the rest of the um, immune that he's been talking with already know that they're eating humans in a way. The HDP, they're taking their proteins, they're making it into a drink, and they're able to drink it to sustain the calorie intake and not um, be what's that word called?
Killers.
No,
Nah.
no, they're still efficient with their body
Well,
where they have
yeah.
enough food for their body to function. Um,
Were you guys like expecting? I thought that plot line was gonna be like, oh, like this was very like I thought it was gonna go somewhere, and then it ended up like I guess that was kind of like a red herring. Like he was trying to say like it was gonna be some big thing. What did you guys think, Parker? What did you think? Like, did you expect something like a huge revealing or something like that, like coming out from the human parts, like they were doing something else, or is just were you kind of like, oh, it's just how they eat now?
I think that was like what I expected. Yeah. Yeah, I do kind of like the way they went about it though, like with her talking to was it Mr. Diabate? Um, and I do think like just like her going to visit him in general was like a pretty big turning point for Carol as a character. I feel like that
Okay.
kind of um I feel like it was a good way going about it, just like her like being able to talk to the guy and like hear that like oh like all the other immune or like meeting without her and all these things. I feel like that was like a pretty good like reality check for her and kind of helped her look at things maybe in a different way moving forward as we kind of see like some changes with the way she acts in future episodes. So I don't know. I feel like that was like a good way to go about it.
Yep. That kind of leads into the next segment. What he's talking about is she writes after she realizes, the wolves come and try to destroy her like
Mhm.
thing of like only semblance of what she thinks she has left of not being truly alone. And the wolves, that's kind of like what I took from it. Like the wolves were coming and destroy shit, like her everything, and like she's just like, oh, I have nobody, like nobody's here. I'm in a city all by myself, she and then also, I thought it was pretty. I saw this thing where she had the firework and she like stands like right directly in front of it, basically, and she's like, "Kill me, please!" Like just
Yeah.
end the loneliness. I thought that was a pretty interesting shot. That was, I think
Mhm.
that was like her turning point where she was like, "Okay, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna call them. Like, just come back, please." And then
Yeah.
that's kind of like where her whole character changes. And I did. That's like the I did like that part of Carol. Like she was able to understand, like she was able to change a little bit. But some of the decisions, like in the final couple episodes, I didn't really like. But Paul, what did you think of that like ending scene where she was, out of desperation, just asked him to come back? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I was listening to a lot of videos about that. I think one thing I'd like to say, I don't think she was like I don't think Carol's suicidal. I think that was to show that she's like
Mhm.
so indifferent to care whether she lives or dies at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's just
yeah,
like, if I die, I
Yep.
die. If I don't, I don't. Kind of
Yeah.
like a Russian roulette. It's like a Russian roulette on herself.
Yeah.
Um, but she also does care a little bit about the environment. Like it also shows that she still has a little hope that they're gonna come back because it's not her house that gets caught on fire; it's her neighbor's house. So like she doesn't have to water it down and make sure the fire stops. Like she could let the house burn for all she cares. Like it don't matter to her. But she still, it's. I think to me, I was kind of convinced that she still cares and thinks that the hive will eventually come back to whatever it was. The humans will come back to what they were before. Um, I liked that again. Going back to what Park said earlier with the scenes with no dialogue, I had to rewatch it again because I don't have the best attention span, but it is
Yeah.
difficult. It is new. It's new to like
yeah,
No, it is. Yeah.
almost a silent film. Like we're going back to the 40s and 30s when they used to make films with no word, like no sound.
right,
And
I definitely did that as well. I would have to like go back and rewind like 5 minutes if I was watching or like if I like thought I missed something because I was on my phone for a couple minutes. Like I definitely, yeah. So
I'm
yeah,
not
so I
gonna
did
lie.
that.
I had to go back and like, cause I didn't see the fireworks scene at first. Like, I had to go back and like rewatch it, and I was like, oh, that did happen. So it was like, cause if you're really not locked in, like, you can miss something, can miss anything, and then
mhm.
that did
Yeah.
happen. So,
It is
uh,
real. That's a whole
yeah,
conversation for another for like at the end of the podcast. But I really enjoyed about this show. But yeah, I loved how like she went to the store and got the paint. I also don't know how the store still had paint. I guess they don't care about paint as
does
a
paint
resource.
expire?
No, but like they took all the food.
It's not food. I feel like
Yeah, I guess they don't care about that as a resource. So, but she went and got the
Yeah,
paint and she's drawing this stuff, and we're sitting there like, what is she making? And then it's revealed at the end, kind of like the atomic bomb scene. Sorry if I spoiled that, but kind of like the atomic bomb scene at the end where like we get a high shot, and then we just see like, oh, this is what she said, and it closes, and the story's over. So yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot.
hmm
Left with suspense of what's gonna happen on the second go around. So yeah.
right. And so on to the next, kind of like going into a little more detail. The next episode, I think that's like they show Manusos. I kind of want to talk about him separately in a after we talk about Carol, but they show him for a little bit, and then they come back to Zosha comes back to Carol in episode 7. Is that 7? I think. Yeah. Okay. Episode 7. She comes back and they're talking, and I thought this was kind of interesting. Like I thought, oh, this could be something like okay, she might be able to break out of the hive mind, maybe, because they're talking and she's like, well, do you remember yourself? Like, do you remember do you have memories? And she's like, yeah, but they're all like minded together, and like and it was kind of interesting how like Zosha was going through like how the hive. We'll talk about that later, but how the hive mind communicates with each other and how they perceive all their thoughts and feelings and stuff. I thought that was pretty interesting too. But yeah, she's talking to her and like doing all this talking and stuff, and she's like, uh, what? I can't remember exactly. Tell me, Parks, what happens in that scene? Tell the audience what happens because you definitely have a better memory than me. If you
What scene are you
remember
talking
it,
about? When they're in the wall?
when they're talking about Zosha's memories, and then does that lead to them getting together? Is that like when it first happens?
What about her memories?
Like
Where
she
were they?
remember in Carol's house they were talking about
I think it was her ice cream, like her favorite ice
yes,
cream. Was
yeah,
that
yeah,
seven?
that
Was that seven or was
yes.
that eight? I can't remember.
Those I think Carol or I think Zosha comes back in at the end of seven and in most of eight.
Right. Okay. So seven was all Menusos basically. Is what.
Yeah, it was like Manusos in the like when he went to the forest and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So okay. So we'll skip that episode because that's all Menusos. But then episode 8 is when they're talking and then uh they have the discussion about what's their favorite ice cream. See if she can like remember who she is even a little bit. And then that's when Carol kind of like she basically she's not accepting them, but she's just like I need somebody. That's kind of how I saw it. Like she's just
Yeah.
going, like she needs somebody for herself. Like so she, it's like, I mean, the hive will do whatever you want, and I think that took into account like what she makes love to Zosha, which
Mhm.
is that? Do you consider that consent? Like, is that? Oh my gosh.
To me, I do, and I think it's important to note that like I also listen to a podcast about this, but like Zosha went in for the kiss first, and Carol backed up. So
Yeah,
you
but
can see
well, yeah,
Yes.
you're right. You're right. Yes,
Yes.
you're right.
you could see
Yes.
it as manipulation on the highest part. I choose to see it as there is interest there for sure.
No.
On both sides, there's interest, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah, no. This is where we'll talk about this later. But no, I don't. I don't agree with that. I think
Yeah.
it's all manipulation because we see like we'll see. You'd see it later in the next episode, episode 9, the last episode, where they're doing whatever they like can to please that girl. I forgot her name, but like in the mountains, they're doing whatever her culture
Kusamayu.
said. Yeah,
Kusama,
Kusamaya.
that
So
was
that
who it was. Oh my
that
God.
scene was kind of crazy. They show it was kind of like it was like eerie. It's like no, there was like no talking really. It was just
Well, they were
like
singing
well,
as,
singing, yes, singing,
and
and
then
it's just like
as soon as she joins, it's
just
dead
quiet,
silence.
and then they
And everyone
all
goes back to
leave.
their like kind of like almost like robotic mannerisms and
Yeah.
then you see they take out or they let out all of the animals and they let them free because
Hmm.
they
Yeah,
don't
and
want
I
to
think
like
that's
control
like
them or
what you're
whatever,
getting
but
at is like manipulation, basically, is what I'm like. That it to me, they don't really care about the people. I mean, they care, but like they're just like, we
they
want you to
yeah
join.
they
We want you
okay
to join.
yeah it's they care because they want to make them their ultimate goal. I mean, we kind of talked about this, right? But like their ultimate
Yeah.
goal is to make them join. So if making them happy by doing their things, like letting Kusamayu have her goat and live on her farm or whatever, if that makes her happy to the point where she wants to join them, then that is something that the hive mind wants to do. So
See,
yeah,
I think there's a couple things I want to say, but to your point you just made, I don't think the hive wants to make the world happy. I don't think necessarily they want them to join to make them happy. I think they want to make them happy, and if they want to join, that's what they would love too.
I
But
think the
like,
joining is their
No,
ultimate
but
goal. Like,
listen, but yeah, okay, go ahead, go
well,
ahead.
they think the joining will make them happy
Yes,
eventually,
yes, that.
but to get there, they first have to get them to join, and to get them to join,
Well,
they have to
but I
do
don't
we
think
whatever they
see
they.
think they
that.
have to
Well, we
do.
see that they don't really care about if they're happy or not, because then they're at the end. Well, they tell Carol they were like, yeah, we're gonna make you join. Like basically, they're like, and she was like,
They
if you
did
love
not
me,
say
Well,
that.
again,
yes, they did. They basically said that at the end. She was like,
No, not basically.
yeah,
No.
they said they said
They
that. They
said
said
when
that.
you said they got one
Let
to
me
three
stop.
months.
Let me talk. Let me talk. So, so listen. The Carol. Okay, so we'll talk. We'll get to this. So go through the episode. Carol having a good time with Zosha. Then Manuso shows up, and we kind of get to see how she felt in the first couple episodes, like with Manuso's being all stubborn, and she's like on the other side now. Basically, is she, says, "Hey, have you ever tried talking to them?" And it's kind of like flipped from like when she first met the other infected or survivors, and they were like, "Hey, have you ever tried talking to them?" And she's like, "What? No, like, hey, these aren't people." And she's like, now it's like flipped on her head, and now she kind of. And I thought like she should be able to understand, but she's so like wrapped in her own mind. Like that's what I didn't like about her character at the end when she was just like she couldn't understand like, hey, I just went through this and now he's coming here and like, I'm not sympathetic, and she is all warped for this fake love that she has for Zosha. Like this is what it is. Like it was not real love, and she wanted it to be real love. So she told herself in her mind, like, oh yeah, this is what I want. This is da da da, and she's forgetting all about saving the world. She doesn't want to save the world anymore. And then so she go through that Manusos tries this like thing. We'll talk about that, and he like tries to yell at them, and they get all angry, or like they start lay down and do all the shaking and stuff. And they leave the city, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm leaving with her." And then Manusos asks her a good question. He's like, "Do you want to save the world or get the girl?" And she chose the girl. She left with Zosha. And then we get to the end where this is what I'm talking about. The Hive will, yeah, like just what Park said, they will make you happy until they can convert you, and they don't care if you're happy really about it. They'll do it because that's what they think is
But
happy.
they're not gonna force it on you.
Yes, they are. They're about to
Well,
force it on Carol.
they're
They're
about.
not forcing it on. They didn't force it on Kusumayu.
Are they going
Wait,
to force it on
They
Carol?
haven't forced it on any except at the very beginning of the show when the show was when they were first spreading the
They
virus.
literally force it on exactly, yes,
Yes, at the beginning, but they haven't done it since.
okay.
because they can't. They're immune. They have to get consent. They
Okay,
have to
well,
consent.
I don't.
Now they don't need
Again,
they don't need Carol. They don't
until they
need Carol's
prove they're
consent now.
forcing it, I don't think
Yes.
I don't until they prove they're forcing it. I don't think it's.
I mean,
I don't think that's how they're
If they could get their
operating.
okay, go ahead, Bart.
the fact that like Carol can't say like, "Oh, I don't want you to do that." It is kind of. I don't know. I see where Donald's coming from.
Like Carol literally says, if you love me, you wouldn't do this. And she's like, it's because we love you, we are gonna do this. Like, bro, they don't give a if you want to or not.
No. I think that's what Vince is getting at is that like first of all, there's the classic song "What Is Love," you know what I'm saying? And I think
Oh my
this
god.
whole conversation has these themes of like, is love doing what I tell you to do, or is love doing as what I see is best for everybody that has that same experience that I'm having right
So
now?
what? But they're forcing them to is what
They're
that's
not.
what I'm
They
saying
haven't forced since the very first episode.
because they can't. They have to get consent. They literally
Sure,
know.
that's an assumption, but
They literally try to kiss Carol at the beginning and make her
they
turn
did.
like without
But
her.
they've also operated completely differently than they have at the beginning of the show. They weren't talking like
Not
all
really.
those interactions they've had at the beginning of the people who were infected. They weren't speaking. They just go up to the person and kiss them. It's not a
Yeah,
whole. It's a
yeah.
different. They're acting completely different. They're not acting the same.
Because
They
they
evolved.
can't. If they could, they would already done
But then
it.
why are they
They can't
interacting?
do it
Then why are they interacting
because
with
they
people?
need their happiness. They need them to be happy, so they'll consent to being in the
No, I don't
hive.
think. I think we're making a lot of assumptions.
That's
They
literally
haven't
that's
said
what's
these things.
happening.
They haven't said these things yet.
They don't need to say what is the whole point of a silent? We just watch a silent episode. They don't need to tell you. They don't need to say it in words. They can just do it, and you can just infer because you're a smart man, aren't you? A
No,
graduate student?
well, yeah, sure, but like that doesn't mean I
Oh
can.
my
I know
god!
everything that Vince is trying to create here. All right,
You
Park,
know
come
what
on,
he's
help us
trying
out.
to
Help
do?
us out. I'm talking to.
Go ahead,
What?
Park. Go ahead, Park. Oh, what's going on?
I
You
don't
got
know.
anything?
I think there's validity to both sides.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
we
me
kind
and
of just like have to see. I don't know. We kind of left it a weird spot. We kind of have to see where each party goes, where the Hive goes from here with
Right.
converting Carol.
I
Um,
also think that like this. Well, we'll talk about that after. I want to talk about. We can talk about that. We can come back to that conversation. I want to talk about Manusos, the new character, because there's I know both of y'all have two different, very different opinions on him. So I'll let Parks go. He kind of already talked about him, but I want you to talk about like what you liked about him. You don't have to go through the whole journey because we already kind of talked about it. Just want to talk about his character. What did you think? What did you like? And yeah,
sure, yeah. So we meet Manusos kind of in sparingly at the beginning of the show, but as the show goes on, we kind of get to learn more and more about him. And he kind of is being set up to be this kind of vital character that really is hell bent on kind of figuring out how to save humanity, I guess. Um, some things we've learned about him, he's very um, I don't know how to put it. Like he has like very strong values. Like he's very like a scene that always sticks out to me from the show is like when he like took the guy's car or whatever and he like or something from some random person's house and he like slips like some money there to like give it for him whenever he comes back. Like he's a man of honor, I guess you could say. And that he's very independent. He I would say he's like an ex an even further extreme than what Carol was at the beginning when she kind of, got stuck in with the Hive. He's even more extreme than that, and I think it's really interesting to see that and just see how he reacted to everything. Um, what else?
I think I'll jump in for a little. I'll give you some time to collect your thoughts because you gave me
Okay.
something good. Um, he is very extreme. It's honestly, and like he's a man of values, which I think we've seen some clips of like some religious iconography. Like it seems like he's maybe a Catholic, maybe some type of Christian. I don't know. But what I find interesting is that there is a side. It's not just Parks. Like there's plenty of people who are on the side of Manusos as the savior. Manusos is the guy who's going to bring humanity back. But it's like we fought. There's a group of people who have watched Pluribus who have fallen in love with like the religious extremists, like
Mhm.
this guy who's hell bent on making them the way he sees fit, and if they don't fit that mold, he even said in the show like if they treat ants the same way they treat humans, they're better off being dead. Like, and that is I don't know if Vince is trying to get at that, but like typically in our society, we're very scared of people who have extreme beliefs in their religion to the point of if they don't believe, they're dead. If they don't think this way, they should die. We're gonna kill them. But in this case, Menusos is acting like that in a sense, and we're just like, this is what's right for humanity, and we need to trust this guy. Um, I find that very interesting. I might be stretching, I might be reaching for something, but that's just a thought.
I like the way you think, Paul. You make me think more, which is good. But I just think, well, yes, he is an extremist, but I think he's just trying to kind of what you said, just turn everything back to the way it was. Like even when like the day he's like leaving to go meet Carol, he gets in his car and they pull up with his mom, and he's like, and she's like, "Don't you want to see your mom?" Like, da, da, da. He's like, "My mom was a bitch, but she
Yeah.
deserves to like have her own
Hmm.
like mind." And I thought that was pretty cool. Uh, he's. I mean, I just whatever about. I think he's a good character. I think most of the characters, and well, it's only like four characters we get to know really in the show. I see the Hive as like one single character in my like they're all the
Yeah.
same to me.
Yeah.
So I really you only see four, but I think like they're all good characters. But I think Manusos, like you said, he's an extremist. He's kind of I could see him being like the not the villain of next season, but I could see it like the villain, where he's like trying to like Carol like found a way, but like you don't want to kill people, and then like you said, he wants to kill everyone, and Menuso's like no, he's going out the violent way, and they clash heads and become villains, or he's the villain technically, but um, yeah, I think he's a pretty good character, and what did you guys think of episode 9 when you know, he does the thing where he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna yell at you and just lay down, and he wants to test something out. He thinks he might have figured something out. What do you guys think of that little bit
I
of the?
think okay, yeah, this is like another thing that I kind of thought was like an interesting contrast between him and Carol is like he doesn't see the humanity in the hive. I think that's a good way to put it. Like
Yeah,
Carol sees that they're humans and sees
yeah.
that there are still like people in there. There
That's
are
kind of
like
like before you go, that's kind of like the contrast. That's the contrast thing I was talking about, where
yeah.
she at the beginning didn't see them as human, like she saw them as something totally different, and now it's
Hmm.
kind of flipped on her head, where oh, Manusos is the same as she was, but more extreme.
Hmm.
But go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, but like he doesn't see them that way at all. Like I don't know. Yeah. I feel like even when Carol, like at the beginning, like she's still kind of like she felt bad, like when she like freaked out at the like in one of the first couple episodes and like people died because of it. Like she felt a lot of guilt and like you could tell
Mhm.
she didn't want to do something like that. But like Manusos would do something like that in a heartbeat. I mean, he did. We saw it, and like
Yeah.
he said to Carol, like I think when they were like out under the umbrella in the middle of the
Well,
desert.
he did tell them to lay down. He was like, lay down. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, they didn't
but
help
like
everybody, but he tried to.
yeah, and like in the desert when he was talking to Carol under the like umbrella or whatever, I think he said like like I think he said something to the effect of like if people have to die to save the rest of humanity, he thinks that's worth it pretty much. So and that's like not a length that I think Carol would ever go to. So like, I mean, we'll go into predictions in a little bit, but I think that's going to be something that that's going to be like a key theme that I feel like we'll see next season, like that Carol and Manusis will clash over is just like the what extreme they're willing to go to save humanity. And I feel like Manusis is gonna want to do more extreme things, and Carol's not gonna be on board with that, and there's gonna be some clashing there.
Yeah. Yep. I totally agree. Paul, you got anything to add to that?
Um, we're talking about at the end. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought about like I think I didn't mention this with the Kusamayu scene, but like a lot of this last episode seemed very um had a lot of religious undertones to it. Like even
Mm,
Kusamayu's conversion was like it felt like a baptism. Like they were
Mhm.
singing
yeah.
this right song for her to lay down. She lays down, her eyes like she like goes under basically, and then she comes back, and now she's like this new creation. It was a lot of that, but then also Manusos was kind of treating this whole experiment as in like exorcism. Like
Yeah.
I feel
I
like
didn't
he's
think
been
about that
around a
side.
lot of I don't know like I don't know anything about Manusos, and I think that would be something that we hopefully get. I'm hoping to get more of
I
Manusos'
hope
backstory
so. Yeah,
in the
some
season two.
flashbacks like we did for Carol, maybe or something.
Exactly. I think we'll get a couple openers like that. But I feel like he's been around some, like he's seen like some pretty crazy experiences, and even the way he talks to, oh God, what was the person's name? Jake, Phil, the guy he was
The
screaming
guy,
at.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know you're talking
He's not like wake up. He says come back, and that makes it seem like he's in some sort of like other realm that he needs to release him
Well,
from.
their consciousness is gone if you think about it. Well,
We
gone,
don't know
and
what
like
I don't know what Manusos knows about the hive. Like,
I don't think he knows anything. He just knows that there's a
well, actually, he
frequency
did have
that.
a whole conversation with Zosha, which we don't have any insight into, which is
Oh yeah,
kind
that
of
too. Yeah.
scary.
Which I
But
thought that was also an interesting
Mhm.
part where she that like what did Carol like that shows like how much she's changed in the season. Like she was terrified of Manusos and like didn't want and I thought that was also interesting when she was like, why are you talking to him? What, you don't love him? And she's like, yes I do. And that kind of like
Yeah.
clicked for me. Like I don't think like I don't see like they don't really they don't really love her for real. Like they love her, but like
No,
they
they
love her
love.
platonically. Like they love her platonically.
Yeah,
It was
they
just
love her the same. They love everyone.
They love her the same the
Their
way
love
that's like
for
yeah,
her
go
is
ahead.
exactly the same as anyone else. Like
And I
she's
thought that
not.
was interesting.
Yeah.
she says that, but
But
that doesn't mean that's actually how they feel.
what? What do you
But
mean?
they
You
can't
never said
lie.
that. You never said
They
that
can't
before.
They
lie.
can't lie.
They can't lie.
Okay, but feelings are complicated. Even for a hive mind to be complicated. Y'all
Yeah,
can't be
but
serious right now. That is like
I
human.
yes. They're
No,
not
but I
human.
mean, they've
Is
been
the hive
asked
mind
things like
human?
that
You just
before.
said they
Like
were
there
human.
was like earlier in the show when like Carol like asked Zosha like, "Oh, did you got like?" Or maybe it was about Helen, but they were like, "Did you like my books or something?" And she was like, "No." Like, so
Yeah.
I mean,
Did Helen didn't like the books? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
but she
mean,
asked, "Did Helen like my books?" She said no. I mean, like she can't lie.
Okay. What does
So
that have
they
to do with
don't.
this?
that's
They
feelings. That has to
yeah.
do with feelings.
They asked
They
about Helen's feelings, not Zosha's
they also
feelings.
can't have any negative feelings. So like, I mean, how much is this
I haven't
love?
seen. Yeah, I haven't
How
seen an
much
example of
meaning
that.
is this love if they
Mm,
can't feel any like badness? You know what I mean? Like
yeah, that's a great point,
Oh, that's
Donald.
a good point. Yeah,
I
like
don't. I mean,
they.
like the love. You're like, oh, they love. Like, yeah, they love them. Like they're human. They're a human life. They love chicken. They can't kill a chicken. They. I don't know if they would make love to a chicken, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like they'll do whatever they'll do whatever life is like wants is
Yeah,
basically it.
that's a great point.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that might have been pretty. Thank you, Donald, for that. Like, I think, like, what does love mean without hate? Like, if you can't choose to not like something,
Uh-huh.
then choosing to
They
like
only have
something,
one
I guess that doesn't
extreme.
mean
Yeah, so it
anything.
like doesn't mean
Yeah.
as
So
much.
I mean,
Yeah.
which I understand where you're coming from. Like like the hive could still be evolving. Like it could be evolving even more. Like it just happened. Like it's only been a couple months in the show that it's been around. So I understand where you're coming from. Like it could still be evolving and develop more feelings and shit. And maybe it is. That could be an interesting plot point. Which kind of want to segue into our predictions theory. Prediction segment. What do you guys think? Will happen? Like your big prediction in the next season. Like, what do you guys want to see? We'll start with either one of y'all. So either one of y'all can say anything.
Um, I did see some theories about this, but just like while we were talking about Manusis, I saw some theories about how while so obviously like we didn't kind of really touch on this, but when he went to the forest, the Darien Gap or whatever, and he got hit like stuck in the trap and they had to like airlift him or whatever. People were saying like while he was in the hospital and bleeding and all this stuff, they could have like maybe taken his stem cells. So that
Oh
could
Mm,
play
snap!
that
that could
could
be
play
good.
a
That could be
big
good.
factor next season if they have that to kind of use as leverage. So
Mm. Well, they won't use it
That's
as
dope.
leverage. They'll just use it. They'll just say, "Fuck you."
I don't think they're savage like that, bro. I don't think they're
I
savage.
do. I do think they're savage, unless they evolve more in the second season. My prediction is, I wonder if it. Well, I don't know if it'll go more than 2 seasons. So my prediction, I don't really have like I don't know where they like so many ways they could go with this. Like I think though I want to see them get either one person out of the hive and then that person can like tell them what it's really like and then they'll be like oh that'd be pretty interesting. I think like let's say they're able to get Zosha out of the hive for like one person. I think that could be pretty interesting. Not the whole hive because I think it'll have to be longer than 2 seasons to be able to do that. I don't want them to rush it. I know it's slow pace.
They're not gonna rush nothing.
Yeah, that's what
Trust
I'm saying. Like,
that.
so I don't want them to like. Well, they're only confirmed for 2 seasons, so I mean, they could.
they gonna go more, bro.
Well, they could rush. I, mean, I don't want them to rush anything through, but I think I want to see them get one person out of the hive. I want them to figure out a way to do it, and then I want.
I feel like it's got to be
Uh,
Zosha. Like
yeah, I
if it
feel like
is
if it's
like
anybody, I think it'd be
Mm.
Zosha. I think that'd be pretty interesting. So, yeah, or the hive like evolves even more, and they like become like way smarter. Like I don't know, or kill something. Like that would be cool. That'd be pretty interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think another thing that's gonna play a big part is like the whole like signals thing. Like I think Manusis was
Mm,
kind of getting on the right track when he was doing like this like what was it? It was like 8613 or
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
like when he was like
yeah.
turning it.
Well,
Um
yeah, that kind of I know Paul was telling me about this. But I want you to talk about that where they like speak on a higher frequency. That's kind of like
yeah.
what.
I think we were gonna touch on this, but in episode 8, like she was explaining that like it's the way they communicate now is not like it's not what's the word? It's not voluntary, it's involuntary. Like it's breathing for them. And it's
mhm.
based on this frequency that like it's a
It's like a nerve system. It's like a nervous
it's
system in a
only
body.
honestly like an extended nervous system where they're just like on a different wavelength that we can't communicate
You know
on
how dolphins
currently.
communicate, echo communication. Well,
Yeah,
it's
but
not the same
I
thing,
don't
but
think it's the
like,
same. It's like I mean they've been doing research on this like in real life, but like there is some evidence that humans can telepathically communicate with each
mhm.
other. People choose to believe it or not, whatever. But I think Vince is playing with is using that as an idea to continue to explore through this radio frequency. Like, what if we did just vibrate at a higher level? Would we be able to? Would I be able to talk to y'all without having to speak? Um, and that's kind of what he's exploring. I kind of like lost my train of thought on that. But anyways, prediction for me. I think y'all said basically everything, but one thing I guess I'll throw out there is I think Kusamayu is gonna come back, not to Carol or Manusos first. I think she's gonna come to the other immune to show them
Mm,
and like be like a spokesperson for like, hey,
symbol,
like I'm in the
yeah,
hive
yeah,
now.
yeah.
This is wonderful. Like this is
I
you
like
should do
that.
it too. Yeah, I actually think the opposite is gonna happen, Donald. I think someone else is gonna join the hive. Maybe one, maybe more.
Mm.
Where I think it'll eventually just be Carol and Zosha. Like I think Diabate will get sick of it.
So, so you think Zosha will be undone and then it'll be them too, or like
Sorry, what
it'll
did I
just be
say? I meant Carol and
Carol
Manusos.
and Manusos? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
sorry,
Mhm.
sorry, sorry. I meant Carol and Manusos.
yeah,
I think it'll just
okay.
be them two at the end.
I can see that too. I can see that happening. Uh,
You think everyone else will be converted?
I can see it. I
I
don't
mean,
think
I
that.
think it's like I think once they see it, like see it immune successfully become a part of the hive mind, it's like well already like Diabate is already you can only live out so many fantasies.
I don't know. I think yeah, I think there was an interesting thing with Diabate because like I remember one scene that I found was interesting is when they were eating breakfast.
Yeah.
I thought that might have like I feel like that was like some maybe like foreshadowing that maybe like Diabate is I don't know, maybe he's getting sick of like always just like being around these like pretty girls and like maybe he's just feeling kind of, feeling
Lonely.
like it's yeah, like lonely, like a sense of individuality, like it's kind of all catching up to him that it's like, not real or whatever. And I don't know, like him finding like the breakfast that she made so fascinating. It just seemed like a little tease that like there might be more to come with him. And when we didn't see him for the rest of the season after that, I think I did find that kind of interesting. But I could see something like that coming into the fold whenever he comes back in season 2, assuming he comes back.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
also to that point, did y'all see the bear?
Oh,
The cooking show.
Joe?
The cooking show, yeah, yeah.
No,
I've watched like a couple of episodes.
I want to see it.
No,
I've
I
heard
haven't
good
watched it yet.
things. There's an actor in it I really like. I don't know who he plays, but Evan Moss Bachrach. He's one of my favorite actors, and I've heard good things. But
Yeah, it's really good. One thing that I didn't like about it though is season 3, they decided to give each member of the crew like a episode because they
Hmm.
all like kind of like just like split up because some
mm,
stuff
Yeah.
happened. So each gave them an episode, and it kind of felt like a bunch of filler episodes in an anime. But I hope they don't do that with everybody, where it's like, oh, now they get Diabate like experience for one episode, and then we get Kusamayu, and then we get the lady with her son.
No.
And they go through all the other
Yeah, I
12, and
agree.
then
I
it's like,
agree with
oh,
that.
last episode we get Carol and Manusos, and then we get
No,
basically
I don't think
nowhere.
they'll do that.
I don't
I
think
don't
they'll
think
do
they'll
that,
do that.
but I don't want them to do that with Diabate either because I don't really see what he provides
Yeah, I don't really
for
see
them.
any of the other like people playing a huge role in this. I mean, they're there. Like
If it's
I don't.
anybody, it's Diabate. I think he's the most likely, and the second most likely would be the Indian
I
mom,
think she'll
Lakshmi.
change. I think she would be most likely to change next because
I
her
think I think
son.
so
And
too. But it's just
if
like I
she,
think both Carol and Manusos are so polarizing. It's like they don't seem very like invite. They're not like
yeah,
I think it'd be very hard for them to recruit somebody to join their team. They're like, hey, like
yeah, I
help
know
us
what
figure
you
this out. It's like, no, we're scared of you. Y'all are, you have a
mean.
machete and you yell at people and kill 11 million people. I don't want to deal with any of
Right.
you.
You have an atom bomb.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
literally have an
you,
atom bomb.
yeah. Oh, don't talk about that. Like that's kind of like the last scene we see. Like, do you think they'll use that? Well, that could be like a cliffhanger for like season two. They're like, don't drop the bomb, or she's about to light the bomb or some shit, like a literal like ticking time bomb. Like that shit could be pretty interesting. You think they
I think
use
it's
that?
kind of troll. Like, I think I said this
Well,
already to y'all.
obviously,
Yeah.
I already said this to y'all, but like, it's like, if you were actually going to use an atomic bomb, you wouldn't give them time to prepare millions of bunkers across the world so they could just, oh, atomic bomb's coming, sound the alarm, go underground, chill for a couple years. We got all the milk down here. Like we
also it
straight.
wouldn't even destroy the whole world. Destroy like that city. I mean, it's not
Sure.
like it'll
But the
Mhm.
blow up the
radiation will
entire.
spread and it'll be very toxic to live on it. But either way, they have all now they've got all this time to prepare the milk, all this time to prepare bunkers. There's no
Yeah,
point of using that. Now it just makes it worse for you to live. Like they ain't got a bunker to stay under.
you know.
They can't
Do
hide
you
from their
think
own.
they'll like let's say they run out of like milk. Will they like to survive? They'll have to like kill something. So you think they'll do it?
Parks, what do you think?
N no, I don't think they will. Because what did I forgot what Diabate said, or was it John Cena? Like he said,
That was
he
funny.
said he said there.
That was
He said how long they were going to be able to last, I think, off of just eating people, but it wasn't like a crazy long amount of time, I don't
It was
think.
10 years.
10 years.
yeah. So like 10 years is up. I mean, like,
But
well, we're not
also,
gonna
like
see that
they're
far.
the smartest people in the world, all coming together, thinking the same. They could figure out something in ten
No,
years.
tofu. Isn't tofu a thing? Tofu is not real meat. What's that?
Yeah,
But
but
they
you
gotta
have to,
harvest
yeah, you still got to harvest,
soybeans.
like kill plants or
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
any form of
They
life they
can't
care
kill a
about.
blade of grass.
Absolute respect
Like,
to that.
Well, GG to those guys. Nah, I'm sure. Well, yeah. Okay. So, anything else that y'all would like to say before we sign off? Anything that we missed? Anything else I want to talk about?
Uh,
um, yeah, I mean, I overall like enjoyed the season. The ending was kind of a little weird. It wasn't really what I expected.
Yeah.
I think the atom bomb kind of really threw me for a loop. I think that was just kind of funny bringing that back. But again, like I've kind of talked to you guys about this. Like I know, like I've watched two Vince Gilligan shows before, and like I kind of have seen how he kind of structures his shows, and so um, while I wasn't like I definitely wasn't blown away by this season. It wasn't the best first season of television I've ever seen or anything. I do. I am optimistic for the show moving forward. I just hope it doesn't take too long to get the next season. I've heard
Yeah.
rumors that it might be over 2 years, which I would not be a big fan of. But yeah, I do feel good. I like where the show is going, and I trust Vince's resume. And
Um.
I think
Mhm.
it'll be good. I'm excited for season two.
Speaking on well, I've just recently like I started Breaking Bad and I want to like finish it, and I think the biggest like that's way different than this show, by the way.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
but what I noticed is because it's like there's more in the start of the season, they finish something in the mid season, and then they're able to like start a new story and then finish that part of the season. Like that's like the biggest thing I seen like with like the
Mhm.
pacing with this show. The first season happens, and when the season ended, like there wasn't like a I guess there was a goal, a new goal, but there wasn't like a completed goal. Like it was like
Hmm.
it's just continued on to the next season, which is fine. I just need to see a big payoff, like because I to me, I was hoping for a bigger payoff, which it's still a great season. It's still a really good season. I'm not like I know like when I first finished watching, I was like I'm not as high as this as y'all, but after I took a couple like a week to like really think about it and stuff, like it was still a good season. Like I would rate it out of 10, I'll rate like a 7.5 to 8 if I like rated it. And the thing that held it back for me is like there was no ending point where I was like, okay. Well, I'm looking forward to like them, but like they don't really get any closer to figuring out like how to like what the hive is, like how to break out of it. Like even that frequency thing didn't really work. It was just like, oh, it's interesting. Like we this could go somewhere, but like
I
that's
think
kind
that's
of like
fair. Yeah,
the biggest thing for me.
I think that's fair for
Paul.
sure. And
Yeah.
yeah,
No, no,
before
go
you
ahead.
jump in, Paul, I do think like season two will be very telling. Like some, I agree. Like some like plot points definitely will need to be if they're not wrapped up by the end of season two. I think that would be like a valid complaint of the show if it's like you kind of like are still kind of dragging something on without any like semblance of a resolution. I because like everything I've heard in the media about this show is like, I mean, they're very much treating this season as like a season, like a half a season. Like it's the half of the
Yeah.
like because
Mm.
they were always said there was going to be two seasons to start. So I feel like this kind of it feels more like a season point five, and then like
Yeah.
whatever's going to come out after this is going to be kind of the conclusion of. I mean, hopefully like that kind of arc or whatever, like you were saying. So,
Yeah. I would
uh,
be okay with that. But like if you
yeah.
saying there's gonna be 2.5 years of
That was
waiting
yeah, that was
for
just
the
like
It's a
next
rumors.
season,
rumor. It's a
That was just
rumor.
rumors I
All right, let's
saw
not
yeah,
online.
overreact, guys.
But
if that is true and then that really if we have to wait that long, like I'm gonna be like,
that
come
would
on, bro. Like
that
y'all
would
should have
suck.
done
Yeah,
something
that
a
would that
little
would that
more.
would
But
that would
I
suck.
Dama
can't
probably gonna have a kid, be married. It's gonna be too late by then.
no, I'll watch it. But yeah, but go ahead, Paul. What do you gotta say?
Yeah, we talked a little bit at the beginning of the show, but like I think even just talking to y'all about it has made me appreciate it a lot more. Just like all the moments of silence, it actually makes it something you have to watch. Like we each confess to the times we sit on our phone for 5 minutes and be like, "What the heck just happened? How's she here? We didn't." I'm so like we're so programmed to be like, look up when there's dialogue because that's when
Hmm.
something is happening, and they're so programmed of ways of watching shows. And this was like, oh, I have to deprogram myself to watching shows like this because this is so unique, because it's a different way of
Hmm.
storytelling. It is slower paced. It is more intentional with every shot. Like I think I'm very impressed with Vince Gilligan's work. Really enjoyed it. Excited for season two. Um, and also to the point that it feels like a season point five instead of a full season. I think this is also I didn't watch Breaking Bad, so y'all could correct me on this, but like if the world snapped in one day and there's no government, there's no like nothing is the same as it was before. I feel like 40 days, 40, 50, 60 days, whatever the season ends at. After that happens, I think that's then when you figure out an action plan of like, what the heck do we do from here? Because like, if the world changed, I'm not saying that the next week I'm like, I got a full plan. All right, this is what we got to activate. This is the goal we need to get. You need to process everything. You just lost the love of your life. You don't know what this thing is. They figure out. They get closer to figuring out what it is. But like, I don't think there really could have been a goal set in this amount of time, just because of like this is a whole new world they're living in. They gotta build it. They gotta figure it out. Like it's gotta take some time before they have a goal.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm playing
I
devil's advocate, but that's just what I
No,
think.
no,
that's good. I
I
mean,
agree, and I also think it's worth noting that like at least in this show, it being sci-fi, which is like different from Vince's other shows, and like I mean the stakes are like a lot higher, right? So like if something like if there was to be a crazy payoff at the end of the season, it's like okay, where do you go from there, type of thing. Like it's the stakes are so much higher that like I think it makes sense to kind of like delay that payoff a little bit because like in a show like Breaking Bad, you can have like, I mean, like a main character die and then you kind of like go from there, right? Like you keep telling the story or whatever. But like, yeah, I don't know if like they found the cure or whatever at the end of season one or something, then it's like, okay, where do you really go from there? Like so I like, yeah, I have faith and like I think no complaints so far.
Yeah, and like you said, that that's those are definitely valid, and that kind of makes me more optimistic because it's planned for 2 seasons, so it's kind of like what he's. I'm guessing that's what he's taking into mind, and he doesn't want to put it all in one season, so that definitely makes sense. There's a lot of shows that like have a peak first season and then
Mhm.
like fall off a cliff after like
Stranger
season
Things.
two.
That's
Uh,
what, yeah, I did she talk about that in the TikTok I sent you, or maybe it was a different one. Maybe it was a different one I watched, but they basically talked about how like so many shows nowadays will just like throw everything they have in their season one, and then like everyone will be blown away, and it's like the craziest thing ever because there's so many like gotcha moments or like whatever, and then it's just like after that it is so disappointing because it's
yeah.
just like they put all their marbles into season one and then they had nothing to do after that, and that's why Vince Gilligan's shows have been so successful because like it's like he's able to go 4, 5, 6 seasons and he's always got like stuff in the bank because he's not showing all his cards, if you will, out the gate. So I thought that was like a really like perfect way of summing it up and like comparing
Mhm.
it to like other shows and yeah. So
Yeah, I think that's like the T media world. Well, kind of like, well, this could be a different conversation for another day, but like
mhm.
the media like world we live in now is everything is so fast paced and stuff. So people want to grab your attention and they release everything at one time, which was a lot of shows do that. Like they'll release their whole season in one day. Like they'll just do all 10 episodes or whatever it is, and they put like a whole bunch and then you watch it and then that's it. Like it's just a nighttime watch. And I think that's what it was what you guys are saying. It's very different and it makes you sit and wait and be patient, which I'm not that patient of a person, but I'll do it for this show if it's a big payoff. So yeah, I definitely think that, it's very different than a lot of shows today now are because of, the time we live in and where everything's fast paced and like you can pull up two shows at once and like what's going to keep my attention, this action scene or this person not talking at all and watching and doing walking around the city or which I think that so but you got to like really be in tune and patient and and I think
Yeah.
it could be it'll be definitely a big payoff if they do it right, which I think he will.
And
So
yeah, I agree with Paul, like what he was saying. Like I think it was just like a really like good like exercise. Like it was good, like it really kind of encouraged me to like, okay, get off my phone and enjoy the show. And I really think I like got more out of it because of that. Because even some of my favorite like other like shows that I consider like my favorites of all time or whatever, like I'll sit on my phone and watch them, and maybe I miss a thing or two in those, but like in this show, it kind of like forces you to focus, or else you're really going to have no idea what's going on. So I think it was like a good exercise in that.
One more thing I want to add about the finale. I heard this on a podcast too. Like, apparently, I found this funny. They had a softer ending than they did in their first cut of the show, and they sent it to Apple TV. And Apple TV was like, "No, that's not a big enough payoff. Like, we need
yeah.
something bigger." And then they sent the one with the atom bomb. So they were actually going to go even slower than what we got in the
Huh.
um, in
Well,
the
yeah,
actual
I
thing.
think
I
it's a
think it's kind of
valid
funny.
like thing where people want to see a huge payoff in season one.
That's
I think that's
interesting. Yeah, I mean that's fair. I do that does kind of draw me some concerns though. I hope Apple TV is not like micromanaging or anything because like I really don't want Vince to be hindered in any way by that. I trust
Every
that.
streaming service is going to be micromanaging. Bro. They got to make
No,
a point.
I don't know. I mean,
well. I
this
mean,
is their first time working with him.
yeah.
He's one of the most well-known TV show directors, if not the most well-known in media right now. So like, I don't know.
Well,
I
Apple
trust
TV
that.
does have some really good shows on there. Like, so
Hmm.
I mean, if they feel like, well, I'm not saying they're wrong or whatever.
Yeah,
Vinny's
I mean,
right,
I
or
just hope
but
they don't like that's not like
yeah,
a sign of them just kind of like being super overbearing or
Mhm.
something. Hopefully
yeah,
not.
for sure.
But I think it's very telling of Pluribus too. Like the I mean, we all talked about the opening episode. Like that was crazy. Like there was just
Yeah,
so
Hmm.
much going
that's
on,
like
so
the attention
intense.
grabber. That's like what
It
people be
really
seeing.
they had to grab it.
Because I was talking to James and a couple of my other boys that we know, James and Simon. They're like, yeah, the first episode is the best episode, and after everything else is kind of slow. And I was like, well, you guys watch. It is slow, but it is pretty good. Like once you really get into it, and so that's kind of like it weeds people out. Like the real watchers, they're gonna watch that shit. You feel me?
It's like those college classes with like 100 with like 500 kids in the class, and then they like give you the hardest assignments for the first week, and then like 250 drop. You know what I'm talking about?
Weed
Did y'all
out,
have
yeah,
that? Yeah,
the weed out
Yeah.
the
assignments.
weed
Yeah.
out
Oh, I
class.
definitely
Yeah,
did that
exactly.
shit. I was definitely weed out. Yeah, I was out of that bitch for sure. Yeah, for sure. I was out of those classes. Yeah. All right. Well, that's gonna wrap it up. If y'all got anything else to say, just let me know. But I think that's pretty good conversation for Pluribus. I'm excited. We're not gonna wait 2.5 years for the next podcast when this comes out. We're gonna be back. Hopefully soon.
If you
We're
got
getting a new
content you
team.
want to see, let us
Yeah,
know
yeah,
in
yeah.
the
Let
Yeah,
us
comments.
know in the
please
comments
give
what
us
you
some
guys want us to talk
ideas.
about. We'll
Give
talk
us
about
some ideas
anything.
in the comments, please.
If you, yeah, not we're not gonna comment on our own video because we know they only got like 10 subscribers or whatever it is. But if you seeing this right now, just go down and put in the comments what you guys want us to watch. Drop a like, drop a comment, like I said in the beginning. Appreciate y'all. I'm Trey, and we got Paul and Parks, and turn it off right now.
Peace.
Peace.